If there's one thing I know, don't underestimate the American people. They get it. There's a reason why.
Welcome back to Blast. If there's one thing we shouldn't underestimate, it's the American people. They get it. Preliminary results following the debate actually show that independents and undecided voters are now more inclined to vote for President Biden. Why? Because they recognize that while it wasn't Biden's best performance, Trump acted like a lunatic, ranting and raving, lying throughout the debate, and completely failing to demonstrate any presidential qualities.
There's a reason why, following the debate, preliminary results actually show that independents, undecideds, people who haven't really been following this are actually more inclined to vote for President Biden because they understand, look, it wasn't a good debate at all for President Biden. On the other hand, they recognize that Donald Trump acted like a lunatic, is a convicted felon, is an adjudicated sexual assaulter, and spends his days posting things like this.
Donald Trump, a convicted felon and an adjudicated sexual assaulter, spent his days before and after the debate posting bizarre and desperate messages. Take a look at what Trump posted. I love you. You love me. We are one happy MAGA family. It's absurd for a presidential candidate to behave like this, reducing serious political discourse to childish antics. This level of desperation is evident in the way Trump tries to cling to his base, using emotional manipulation rather than presenting solid policies or plans for the future. Moreover, Trump's supporters who showed up at his events wearing diapers and shirts proclaiming "I'm with the convicted felon" are a stark contrast to the general American populace. The American people are not with the convicted felon. They see through his scams and lies. Trump's antics might resonate with his hardcore supporters, but the broader electorate sees it for what it is, a sideshow meant to distract from his lack of substance and integrity. Trump's emails to his supporters are equally desperate. One subject line reads, "I love you, you love me," followed by a message filled with nonsense. This is the level of seriousness Trump brings to his campaign. It's a stark reminder of how detached from reality he has become, resorting to infantilizing his supporters rather than engaging in meaningful dialogue about the issues facing the country. Trump's behavior during the debate was no better. He refused to answer straightforward questions and continued his baseless claims about the election being stolen. When asked if he would accept the results of the upcoming election, Trump dodged the question, suggesting more news conferences to discuss supposed fraud. This tactic is classic Trump, sowing doubt and confusion to avoid taking responsibility or providing clear answers. One of the most egregious claims Trump made was about Roe v. Wade. He asserted that everyone wanted it overturned and handed back to the states, which is a gross misrepresentation. This move has caused widespread turmoil and division across the country. The reality is that the decision to overturn Roe v. Wade has been met with significant backlash, highlighting the deep divide on this issue. By claiming universal support, Trump ignores the voices of millions who see this as a step backward for women's rights. Then there was Trump's disgraceful comment about January 6th, claiming that many of the rioters were just so innocent. This is a blatant attempt to rewrite history and downplay the violence and chaos that occurred. The insurrection was a dark day in American history, and to minimize the actions of those involved is an insult to the democratic principles this country was founded on. Trump's assertion that America was most respected in the world on January 6th is laughable. The world watched in horror as his supporters stormed the Capitol, undermining the very democracy he claims to defend. Respect is earned through leadership and integrity, not through chaos and insurrection. This statement shows just how out of touch Trump is with reality and the global perspective on his actions. On the other hand, Biden had moments where he could have pushed back harder but did manage to land significant points. When Trump bragged about not having sex with a porn star, despite being convicted on multiple felony counts related to hush money payments, Biden remained focused and pointed out the absurdity of Trump's claims. It's clear that Biden aimed to rise above the fray, focusing on policy and truth rather than engaging in Trump's theatrics. Biden also addressed the economic impact of Trump's policies, emphasizing how his mishandling of the pandemic led to unnecessary suffering and economic downturn. He reminded viewers that no court in America found any merit in Trump's claims of election fraud, highlighting Trump's inability to accept defeat gracefully. This was a critical point as it underscored the integrity of the democratic process and the baselessness of Trump's allegations.
I don't walk as easy as I used to. I don't speak as smoothly as I used to. I don't debate as well as I used to. I know how to get things done. And I know, like millions of Americans know, when you get knocked down, you get back up.
Furthermore, Biden stressed the importance of democracy and the rule of law, contrasting his commitment to these principles with Trump's authoritarian tendencies. Biden's closing remarks about Trump's competency were a stark reminder of the chaos and instability that characterized Trump's tenure. The contrast between a president who respects democratic norms and one who seeks to undermine them could not have been clearer. Trump, meanwhile, tried to deflect by boasting about passing a cognitive test and winning golf tournaments, which hardly addresses the concerns of American voters about his ability to lead. As we move forward, it's crucial to stay informed and critically evaluate the information presented by both candidates. The future of our democracy depends on it. We must look beyond the surface and understand the deeper implications of their words and actions. One of the key issues that Biden highlighted was healthcare. Trump claimed that his administration had done more for healthcare than any previous administration. However, Biden countered with a point about the Affordable Care Act, reminding viewers that Trump had tried to dismantle it multiple times without presenting a viable alternative. This is a critical issue for millions of Americans who rely on the ACA for their healthcare needs. Another significant moment was when Biden addressed Trump's handling of the pandemic. He pointed out that Trump's negligence and incompetence led to a higher death toll and greater economic impact than necessary. This is not just about policy failures. It's about lives lost and families affected. Biden's focus on the human cost of Trump's actions resonated deeply. Moreover, Biden brought up the importance of international relations and America's standing in the world. He criticized Trump's alienation of allies and cozying up to dictators, emphasizing the need for strong, principled leadership on the global stage. This is crucial as we navigate an increasingly complex and interconnected world. Trump, in contrast, continued to peddle conspiracy theories and falsehoods. He claimed that the election was stolen, despite all evidence to the contrary.
We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it, especially the other side.
He painted a picture of America under siege, a narrative that appeals to his base but falls apart under scrutiny. This fear-mongering does nothing to unite the country or address the real challenges we face. In discussing the economy, Biden highlighted the stark differences between his approach and Trump's. While Trump focused on stock market gains and the wealth of the few, Biden emphasized job creation, fair wages, and support for small businesses. He pointed out that economic recovery should benefit everyone, not just the wealthy elite. This message of inclusivity and fairness is essential for building a stronger, more resilient economy. Trump's repeated interruptions and refusal to follow debate rules further demonstrated his disregard for the process and the American people. It's clear that he prioritizes his own ego and agenda over respectful and constructive dialogue. This behavior is not just disrespectful, it's dangerous for our democratic institutions. As the debate progressed, Biden's commitment to addressing systemic issues became evident. He spoke about racial justice, climate change, and healthcare reform with a clarity and urgency that highlighted his understanding of these critical issues. Trump's responses, on the other hand, were often dismissive and devoid of substance. One of the most powerful moments was when Biden addressed the nation directly, speaking about the need for unity and healing. He acknowledged the divisions but called on all Americans to come together to face common challenges. This message of hope and solidarity stands in stark contrast to Trump's divisive rhetoric. In the end, while neither candidate delivered a flawless performance, the differences in their approaches and values were clear. Biden's focus on truth, integrity, and policy stood in stark contrast to Trump's chaos, lies, and self-aggrandizement. This debate was a reminder of what is at stake in this election: the soul of our nation and the future of our democracy. Thank you for watching Blast. Make sure to hit subscribe and stay tuned for more in-depth analysis and coverage of the political landscape. Together, let's strive for a more informed and engaged electorate. Stay informed, stay engaged, and let's work together to build a better future for all.